Hey Falcon fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to Atlanta Falcons Today. We have to react to a big Sunday win. Dare I say one of the better Sunday wins the Falcons have had in a very long time. I mean, that was a nice win on the road in Carolina, getting them their 6th win of the season and putting them right back into the playoff mix. We talked about a couple of weeks ago, the playoff chances, they're slowly dying, and now we're kind of back to this playoff chances actually being very much alive, as we'll show you a little bit later on in today's video. 29-21, maybe a little closer than, the actual game was. It was a dominant win by the Atlanta Falcons. I think through and through, minus that one really good drive by Cam Newton there in the first half and the nice P.J. Walker drive, was it the fourth quarter? It was basically a dominant Atlanta Falcons win. They were able to move the football on offense, protected Matt Ryan very, very well, ran the football very, very well, didn't turn the football over minus the one Kadri Allison fumble. That was an issue, and then played great defense. And we'll talk about A.J. Terrell, a fantastic performance yesterday. He is really turning into not just a star at cornerback, he's an emerging superstar at cornerback, and I think he's trending towards being one of the better cornerbacks, top 5 in the league as he emerges to year 3 and year 4 and year 5 of his career. Again, this was one of Atlanta's better wins. We talked about wins in the past where you kind of go, okay, yeah, but then they gave up, 14 points in the fourth quarter to the Saints, or okay, yeah, this was a nice win, but it was the Jets, or they haven't had a complete win at all the entire year. I'm not saying yesterday was fully complete. It wasn't like a 31-10 drubbing that's more of a complete win, but 29-21 versus I would say motivated Panther team. I know the Panthers are going to get ripped a lot in the comment section saying Carolina's trash. I agree that they're not that great, but they still have a very good defense. I think that they are decent on offense, at least have weapons on the outside if the quarterbacks can get them the football. And Cam's always a wild card, right? Is Cam going to play great? He's going to play badly. He played well at times, then really badly at other times. So I do consider this one of the better Falcon wins overall. And listen, a win's a win. You can only play who's in front of you. This all sets up a very pivotal, as we'll see, matchup next week against the 49ers that basically kind of decides if the Falcons are going to go to the playoffs or not. So we'll get into that in a second, though. First, pin comment down below during this ad break. Scroll down and get your votes in. Grade the Falcons' performance against the Panthers, A, B, C, D, or F. I'll give it an A-. Again, I feel pretty good about that performance overall watching it yesterday on TV. Give me your grade down below right now in the pin comment, though. I want to see what you guys think about the Falcons' performance. Start with our first takeaway, offensive line. I mean, they kept Matt Ryan clean the entire day. It's amazing what happens when you have a competent offensive line. And I'm not saying the Falcons magically do, but they did yesterday, and they played very, very well. 0 sacks of Matt Ryan. That is so rare. It's happened one other time this year, and they were actually able to run the football as well, as we'll see here in just a couple of minutes. The offensive line, maybe it's just the fact the Panthers didn't play well yesterday from a defensive front four, even though I think the Panther front four is one of the better ones. Not going to say they're top 10 in the league. They're top 15 in the league overall in terms of rushing the passer, but they at least were able to get movement. They were able to protect Matt Ryan, and you see, when the Falcons do that, that offense becomes pretty dangerous. And I think that even though they don't have Calvin Ridley in there, Cordell Patterson and Kyle Pitts and now Russell Gage, when they give Matt Ryan time to throw the football, he can carve a defense up and down, and he was able to do that yesterday. So credit to the offensive line for playing very, very well. We'll get into that Falcon rushing game first, though. Do you have a gift idea for that special someone in your life who loves the Falcons? If you don't, I have a great deal for you on the super cool Falcons beanie for just $22. If you order now, I'm pretty sure it'll be there in time for Christmas, because today's the 13th of December, so you have time. Get this stuff ordered now. Do it at our link right now, chatsports.com/Falcons hat. This beanie looks perfect for all those cold weather fans out there. I mean, Atlanta's cold right now, but just overall, if you don't even live in Atlanta, you live in the Northwest, Northeast, pick up this beanie right now for yourself or that special someone as Christmas is approaching. Get the gifts done. I'm almost done my Christmas shopping. I've got it done early. You guys should do it as well. Chatsports.com/Falcons hat to jump in on this $22 Falcons beanie. All right, are the Falcons suddenly a rushing football team? It's starting to seem that way. 3 straight weeks of over 100 yards rushing. I mean, this was something Atlanta was unable to do at the beginning of the year, unable to do it all basically last year, and now suddenly it's like can consistently have 100 yards rushing. Patterson yesterday went for 58. Mike Davis had his best game as a Falcon, in my opinion. That rushing touchdown in the first half was fantastic. He also had some good receptions as well. Maybe it's the Carolina thing because he played in Carolina last year. 44 rushing yards for him. Allison 23, and then the fumble, so not good. And then Matt Ryan running for his life there for 3 yards, scrambling around as he does like a giant wounded giraffe, as I like to call Matt Ryan, because he's very, very slow. Either way, they're able to run the football right now. They're rushing it much better. And honestly, if you want to do anything in the postseason or have any chance of making the postseason, this is the formula. You run the football, hard play action, find Gage and Pitts, and don't turn it over on offense. And that's what they did yesterday, and obviously it resulted in a win. Let me ask you this. You guys think the Falcons' offense is good enough to compete in the playoffs? Like, let's say they do make the postseason. You think the offense is good enough? Defense is very iffy. I think the defense will get carved up by some of these better teams in the NFC, as we'll see, but maybe the offense is good enough to compete. What do you think? Type Y down below for yes if you think they are. Type N down below for no if you think that they would not be competitive at all in the postseason. We must mention him again. We mentioned him earlier, AJ Terrell. AJ Terrell is going to end up being the best thing Thomas Dimitrov ever did. It's like his final gift to Atlanta, even though a lot of his gifts were bad gifts. But besides Grady Jarrett, AJ Terrell is the only other star in this defense, and he's severely underrated. No one nationally is talking about Terrell, but he's played like a top 5 cornerback in the league this year, alongside Ramsey and Darius Slay of Philadelphia. Terrell has been up there as well. I mean, he's just balling out. He had an interception yesterday. Should have had 2. I mean, really should have had 2 interceptions. Walker almost threw him one there that he just kind of got, poked out of his hands. He's been fantastic. You got to give credit where credit is due. He is definitely one of the building blocks and centerpieces of this future Falcon team. The fact that Atlanta got him at 16 overall is chef's kiss. Fantastic. We're going to get into the playoff push here. Make sure you guys are subscribed, because this week against the 49ers is, I mean, it's the game of the year. They have to win it. On the road against a streaking Niner team that's playing good football right now. Any news and rumors, full preview, updates, cover it all here on the channel. So go down below and subscribe. If they beat the Niners, then their playoff chances are skyrocketing, and I'm pumped to obviously cover that here on the channel. So go down below, help us out, and subscribe. We do have to also acknowledge the fact that Arthur Smith's play calling went from terrible the first couple of weeks to trendingly getting better. It's gotten much better the past couple of weeks, and I really focused in on Matt Ryan's performance yesterday. It wasn't, perfect in any way. Like, his completion percentage wasn't as, great as you would expect. The yards weren't that fantastic, but they had a great game plan to dink and dunk their way down the football field, push it down the field when they needed to. Think about that long pass to Gage on the right side early on, and then the ability of Kyle Pitts to get open due to that scheme play on 3rd down and 8 to basically ice the game, all Arthur Smith game planning. I mean, that was fantastic. And overall, again, Gage is playing a lot better. 64 yards on 4 or 5 targets. Pitts had 6 catches for 61 yards. Mike Davis out of the backfield. They're screening a little bit more, which is rare right now for Atlanta. And then, of course, Smith had the 1 catch for 12 yards as well. They're playing much better on offense. And again, it's the fact the offensive line played better, the fact they're able to run the football. But you see what happens when you can do both of those things. It opens up Arthur Smith's play calling, and that has been very, 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 very good so far these past couple of weeks. So credit to him and shout out to him as well. All right, I've said it about 8 times today. We'll say it one more time. The 49ers game next week is a must-win. Like, it virtually is a must-win, because as you look at this next couple of games here, you technically could lose one of these final 4. You just can't lose to the 49ers, because if you lose to the 49ers, then you don't have a tiebreaker against San Francisco, you don't have a tiebreaker against Washington, you don't have one against Philadelphia. Those are all wildcard playoff teams battling it out right now at 6 and 7, so you got to beat the 49ers next week. Then you got to beat the Lions. You could technically lose to the Bills, but you got to beat the Saints. I think that would get you in. I think 9 and 8 probably gets them in, but they have to beat the Niners. Look how their playoff chances change, though, based on wins and losses over the next couple of weeks. If they go 4-0 over their final 4 games, they're in. 99% chance. Like, it's basically 100%. If they go 3-1, it'll range from 28% to 75%, and that depends on if it's the Niner game that's the loss or not, which, of course, if it's the Bills' loss, then it's an AFC loss, and it's not that big of a deal. 2-2, it's like 1 to 7%, so basically impossible, and then 1-3, obviously, that means they are 100% eliminated. So the chances are still there. Regardless of how you feel about this team, the chances are still there. You guys think the Falcons will make the playoffs? If you do, type 1 down below for yes. Think that they will not. Type 2 down below for no. Quick look here at the playoff picture. Again, Rams play tonight on Monday Night Football, so that could be 8-5 or 9-4, depending on what happens. That Niner win yesterday was tough. Washington losing was good. You got to root against the Vikings going forward, root against Philadelphia going forward, and then you see Atlanta sitting there as one of the 4 teams tied at 6 and 7. It's all in front of them. If they're able to get some wins in a row here, especially beating San Francisco, their chances of making the playoffs remain very high, which I'm excited to see. All right, ultimate day on our Atlanta Falcons news and rumor video here, breaking down the big win yesterday, 29-21 against the Carolina Panthers. Make sure you guys are subscribed for future videos. We have plenty of great content coming up here on the channel as we continue to push, hopefully, towards a playoff run. Very exciting times right now here in the ATL. For Atlanta Falcons Today, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off. To the rest of your day.